The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
This is AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business, providing opportunities to discover information to help you run your business and guide your decision making. The more you know, the better decisions you make. AHA Business Radio is produced by Alan Hirsch Advisors. For more information, log on to ahabusinessradio.com. To join in tonight's conversation, call 410-481-1300. Now, here's your host for AHA Business Radio, Alan Hirsch.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's show. My guest this evening is Lee Frederiksen from a company called Hinge Marketing. And we're going to talking about one of the things they specialize in is working with professional services companies. So we're going to talking about employer branding today, and I'll let him talk about it. Lee, welcome to the show.
Alan, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's my pleasure to have you. So, same question I ask every guest. What motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work?
I love finding out new things, particularly things that we think are true but haven't been discovered yet. So unearthing things in the research is my big turn on, and then sharing them with people.
So how did you get started in this research field? And, tell us a little bit about Hinge Marketing.
Well, I started out, I'm a psychologist by training, a behavioral psychologist.
I'll forgive you.
Yes, I'm recovering, though. I'm recovering.
Good for you. It's like a lot of the recovering lawyers I know. But anyway.
There you go. So I started out in it as a client of Hinge, as a professional service provider, and I realized that my research skills could really help grow the field and understand why clients do things, because professional services marketing has always been sort of the backwater of marketing, where there hasn't been a lot of innovation, and it's undergoing dramatic changes, and it's a great benefit to be a part of those changes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the changes that you're talking, particularly in, I guess it's really trying to brand personal service companies. And first question is really, what would you consider personal service companies, so with the listeners can understand what we're talking about?
Yes, we're talking about the kinds of things where people offer advice or specialized skills. So accountants, lawyers, architects, engineers, management consultants, technology services companies, all of those things, even marketing and communications, all of these things are good examples where your expertise is really what you're selling. Okay,
so what are the challenges that professional service firms are really facing today?
Well, there's a couple of big challenges. One is there's a very changing marketplace, and all of that's been driven by changes in communication and our expectations as consumers. So we're more likely to go online and research a firm and find out who has the solution to the problems we have than we are to ask our friends and colleagues. That's the way we used to do it, and that used to be all of professional services marketing, was networking and getting to know people. But that's really changed, and the other thing that's happening is the underlying technology. Things that used to be done with professional services people, now they're online services or other ways of doing it. So it's a shifting marketplace and a shifting way that buyers find it. And, of course, one of the things we wanted to talk a little bit about today is how the whole employee market, so professional services firms are having a real challenge finding the right top quality employees these days as well.
So let's get started with that. So the first step, I think, is one of the things you talk about is what is employer branding and why is it important? And why is it important to attract the kinds of employees that they think they need?
Great question. Employer branding is simply, what's your reputation as an employer? What's your reputation in the marketplace as a place to work? And people sort of intuitively understand that they have that, but they often don't put enough attention to it. And so what happens is there's no real thought into what it's like, and they just go just on what their gut says or their hunches, or they may even think it's not important. And that's the challenge, is how do you make your firm a great place to work so you can get the top talent? Because after all, what you're selling is expertise. And the difference between an average employee and one who has specialized expertise isn't like just a little bit. It isn't like one is like 10% better or 20% better. It's a huge difference. So someone who has the right expertise can have a 5 or 10-fold impact on productivity over someone who doesn't have it. So it's very important that you do have the right people on your team if you're going to be successful.
So, one, how do you go about branding your personal services company to attract? So, what are some of the things you have to do? You talked about. Because I know when we had you on the show a year and a half or 2 years ago, we talked about the fact that you talked about earlier that the old referrals used to be, as you said a minute ago, was if you knew me, you'd ask me, who do I refer you as a lawyer or a doctor and or an accountant? I'd give you'd call them. Today, before you even call them, you look them up on the internet, you find out all the information, and then you decide whether they're the firm right for you. So what does an employer have to do to make for their employees and or customers to make that new connection?
Exactly. Well, an interesting thing, we have some research that speaks directly to that about what an employer has to do. And I'll just give you just a little bit of background on what the research is. We looked at over 800 people who were either on one side of the hiring equation or the other. They were either the people that are in charge of interviewing and hiring people and recruiting, or there were people who are in the market looking for a position or interested in considering a position. And we asked them a series of questions to understand how they approach the task of finding a job or hiring someone. And are there any differences in perception? In other words, do people who are doing the hiring, do they have any misconceptions about how to go about finding the right person or what people might be interested in? And as it turns out, that I think is the first step, is understand what the people you're trying to hire, what they're really interested in, what makes you a good place to work as opposed to someone else who is not as good a place to work.
So what does the research show? What makes a good personal services company to attract employees, and what are the employees looking for from the employer that's going to bring in the top quality people that they need?
Okay, that's such a good question, because there's a difference between things that people consider, that they take into account, and they look at a wide variety of things when they're considering a place to work. But when it gets right down to making the decision, what is it that matters most to them? The interesting thing is, it's not what most employers think it is. If you ask an employer, what you're most likely to get is they're interested in top salary, that kind of thing, maybe making a socially meaningful contribution, or those sorts of things. Actually, the single most important thing to employee candidates in professional services is working with a growing firm. And this surprised us because we didn't know what to expect, but we didn't think it would be working with a growing firm. So people are really focusing in on where is the opportunity for growth, where is a firm that's healthy and growing, and that is more important than making a salary, than any social contributions, anything like that. So working with a growing firm.
Well, to me, that sounds like they're looking for security and the future.
I think security and opportunity. Yep, that's
right.
the way I would characterize it.
That's what they're looking for in those kinds of evaluations. I mean, I saw a study. It's been a couple years now when they did an international study of what employees are looking for, and you thought a lot of people thought employers think it's money.
Yeah.
But that was something like 11 or 12 out of the list of what employees want in a job.
Yes. Yes.
It is really a true misconception that employees want money. They want a lot more, and I know that's some of the things you're going to be talking about, what these kinds of professional service employees are looking for.
Yes.
I do have to go to the first commercial break, and when we come back, I will continue the conversation with Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. I am Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM. I'm Alan Hirsch, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500. Looking for a new website for your business? Need some help getting people on your pages? Adventure Web Interactive is your all-in-one website source. Our websites have won multiple awards and recognitions for innovation and design. Choose from services like website design, mobile app development, database integration, SEO, social media marketing, and content writing. Call Adventure Web today for a free consultation at 410-788-7007 or click on advp.com.
Search engine optimization can be critical to the success of any business. Every enterprise wants to solve the mystery of SEO. Here are a few facts. 4 times as many consumers would rather watch a video about a product than read text about it. 40% of consumers say that video increases their chances of making an online purchase. Search engines like Google and Bing recognize that consumers stay twice as long if your site has video content. Call LW BizFlix at 443-465-8300 to see how video content can drive your SEO upward. Product videos, website introductions, video testimonials, educational videos, explainer videos, you name it. Call LW BizFlix today at 443-465-8300 or check out their website, lwbizflix.com. That's LWBIZFLICKS.com, and get your business on track to maximize your SEO.
Symphony Placements is Baltimore's leader in flexible staffing and human resource solutions. From temp to perm, direct hire, and payroll outsourcing, Symphony Placements continues to exceed their clients' expectations. Woman-owned, certified minority business, and ranked on the Inc. 5000 list. A full-service staffing agency that specializes in administrative, legal, healthcare, IT, call centers, hospitality, and convention services. They bring harmony to your staffing. Visit symphonyplacements.com for additional information. That's symphonyplacements.com.
Do retirement issues keep you up at night? Are you holding a portfolio filled with underperforming investments? If so, call me, Troy Brewer, and my team at Wells Fargo Advisors, and schedule an appointment today. My team has been quarterbacking clients for over 22 years and has developed a sound process to get your goals and dreams on track. Call us today at 410-230-6554. As you know, it all starts with a conversation.
This has been a paid advertisement by the Brewer Gayhart Wisniewski Financial Consulting Group of Wells Fargo Advisors.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating aha moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Alan Hirsch.
Welcome back. With me in the show today is Lee Frederiksen. He is with Hinge Marketing, and we're talking about how personal service organizations and companies can improve their attracting employees through employer branding. If you have any questions, comments, or want to join the conversation, please give us a call, 410-481-1300. So, Lee, just before we left, we were talking about the kinds of things that employees from your study are looking for when they're looking to move into a new public professional organization. So what are some of the other things? The one you talked about was growth and which we talked about opportunity and stability and security.
Yep. Well, that was the number one thing. Interestingly, Alan, the number two thing is having the option to work remotely or telecommute. Now, that is actually scored higher than getting the top salary. So that kind of flexibility, and that's a relatively new thing, the trend towards that. And it's something that we know employers do not really understand yet how important it is. When we ask the employers about what do people consider when they're hiring, only 27% of them even thought that people would consider having the ability to work remotely or to telecommute as something important when they're considering an opportunity. So, 3/4 of the people are missing the importance of that, and it's the number two most important thing right after working with a growing firm.
That partly surprises me, but then partly doesn't, because if you're
exactly.
It surprises me because I would think in many professionals they'd like to be part of a team. And to be in a team, it's difficult to be in a team when you're on your own in your own home.
Exactly, it is.
Whereas I think professionals also want the independence to work where they need to work to be most efficient in what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think the reality is it's getting to people want the flexibility to be able to do that. Not necessarily my own anecdotal experiences. People don't necessarily want to work every single day remotely, but having the ability to do at least some seems to be more and more important to people. I think as they see folks around them having that opportunity, it's something they want.
Well, that certainly is not about money.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some of the other things that that research showed?
Well, one of the other things that's also important, and this I think is quite interesting, it's almost exactly as important as getting the top salary, and that is the ability to build your personal brand in your industry. In other words, your own personal brand as an expert, as a top person in the industry. Folks who are going into the professions recognize the importance of that and rate that almost exactly as important as getting the top salary in the marketplace.
So how does an employer help an employee build their... It was one of the questions I had before the show was how does this translate? The employer brand translate into helping each of the professionals develop their own personal brand. So,
imagine this. Imagine if you were an individual and you're going in for a job interview, and the person you're working for said, "Here at our firm, we tried to make everyone an expert, and we try to increase their personal brand. And we do this by encouraging them to write articles, to engage in speaking engagements. We offer training to help you learn how to do this, and it's a normal part of what we offer. So you can build up your own personal brand." Now, if you're an employee, you think, that sounds pretty interesting. I can build up my brand. I know that there's a lot more turnover than there has been in the past, and that any position I hold, I might approach that as thinking that it's going to be temporary, which is different than the way it used to be, because I know there's a lot of turbulence in the marketplace. And so this sounds like a pretty good deal to you then. Yep. So what the flip side of that is that for the employer is actually the more visible your experts are in the marketplace, the more they're out there publishing, writing, speaking, the more business that's going to bring to the firm, to your professional firm. So it's a win-win on both regards. But of course, the only challenge is you have to put in place a mechanism to be able to make good on that then, to actually help people increase their visibility and build their personal brands.
Yeah, I would think, and before I do this, just remind the listeners that I'm talking to Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call, 410-481-1300. I would also think this is a challenge for the employer in a sense, some kind of incentives, because if they really build the brand of the employee, they're creating a situation where the employee might have built the brand himself or herself to the point where they could actually go out and be a competitive firm.
You're absolutely right, and you probably put your finger right on what is the biggest fear of most employers, and that is, if I help this person create their brand, that's going to make it easier for them to get another position, easier for them to go somewhere else. And to a certain extent, that is right. That will make them more visible and make it easier to go. However, it will also make it much, much easier for you to get clients. It'll make it easier for you to charge higher fees for that expertise. It'll make it easier for you to recruit people, to recruit better people. So there is a risk, there is a little bit of a downside, but the thing of it is the upside is so much better that net, I think you're going to find yourself a lot better off as an employer if you encourage that rather than discourage it. Because the good people will always have the option to go out, whether you make it easy for them or make it difficult for them.
Yeah, and you use the term fear. To me, which holds back, and we're talking about professional services, but I think fear is one of the things that holds back any entrepreneur or business owner.
You're exactly right.
And I use the acronym, and I've used it a couple times on the show. Fear is false expectations appearing real.
Yes. I haven't heard that acronym before, but it's very apt.
And if you fear the worst because you think it's going to happen, and more often than not, it doesn't happen.
That's right.
And if you fail, that's how you learn. And the only person that didn't, and the only firm that didn't take a risk was a firm that never did anything.
Right. And the interesting thing too, if you sort of look at it, you look at some of the most developed professional services firms in the world, like the Big Four, for example, the accounting firms. If you would ask them what is probably your single biggest source of new business, most of them will tell you it's our alumni, people that used to work here, who went to work in industry, took a position somewhere else, know the firm, and end up doing business with them. So just because someone leaves, an employee leaves, a professional leaves, does not mean that they're of no benefit to you or that you're not enhancing your firm by the fact that these people have been trained, they've developed their careers. It is actually a tremendous benefit in recruiting.
I think you're right. I think building brand, getting people out to speak, getting them to meet people is the way to bring in business. And if you have a director of marketing, which most personal service organizations don't have, they're beginning to do it now in the new age of social media, because most of them don't understand social media, so they have a director of marketing that gets involved in that. They become the face of the organization. They bring in the business. And even if it isn't in their own expertise, they know the people within the firm that can do it. And so...
exactly. I think you're so right. The marketing has changed. It used to be kind of a one-on-one activity. The concept of the individual rainmaker. That that person who is well connected, knew everyone in the community, and so forth, and that hasn't gone away. I mean, those people are still there, but what's happening is becoming less and less of the overall marketing. It's becoming much more of a team sport, where it takes more than one person to do it, and you don't just do it by making a few contacts. You do it by establishing a reputation at being able to solve certain kinds of problems for people.
Well, as I like to say, if it's a person, every employee is a salesperson.
That's right.
And I use something...
Or an anti-salesperson.
Or an anti-salesperson. And I use a term that's I didn't invent. Simon Sinek, who is created Why, and I do have to go to a break, but I just want to mention this, that customers won't love your company unless the employees do. And we're going to go to break with that. So listeners and Lee, you can think about that. As we go to the break, we'll have the traffic update, and when we come back, I will continue the conversation with Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. I'm Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio 1300 AM.
This traffic report is brought to you by GilletteOnDemand.com. There's still major delays going down 295 past 32, just some minor ones going north on 95 through Jessup, jammed on both sides of the Beltway from Linthicum Heights to Arbutus. There are major delays coming off of 70 as well and onto the inner loop. The same goes for the outer loop above Baltimore. That's from Bel Air Road stretching back to 95. Just tight going up 795 from McDonough Road to Owings Mills Boulevard and going up the Harrisburg Expressway through Hunt Valley. 40 million Americans wake up to a Gillette shave. Gillette's working to bring you America's #1 shave for less. Go to GilletteOnDemand.com and get every fourth order free. With your traffic, I'm Nathan Scott on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most. Is your website up to the new Google standards? If it has been a while since your website has been updated, you could be missing out on valuable traffic because potential clients can't find you. At Adventure Web Interactive, our web designers can update your site by optimizing it for search engines and maximizing user experience. Contact Adventure Web today at 410-788-7007 for a free website analysis or visit us on the web at advp.com.
The Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce is your voice in the Baltimore business community. Our mission is to help our members create lasting partnerships throughout the city and the region by making resources, information, and networking opportunities available to our members. For more information on how to get involved in Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce or to register for one of our upcoming events, visit us at baltimorecitychamber.org. That's baltimorecitychamber.org.
Did you know that in 2015, there was over $1 billion in theft? Construction sites are being targeted for their copper and equipment. Personal injury claims for retailers are up 74%. Your employees spend 2/3 of their day shopping online and using social media. SOS Tech Group offers comprehensive surveillance solutions to battle this growing epidemic. Call 410-559-7020 or visit sostechgroup.com for more info.
Why are your potential customers buying from your competitors? And what are you doing about it? Whether you need to increase foot traffic or web traffic, you need a solid plan to reach new customers. New customers. That's what it's all about, right? At CK Westbury, we can develop and execute a plan designed to reach new customers and build loyalty with your current ones. We are CK Westbury Media and Marketing. 410-832-2426. That's 410-832-2426.
I-95 Business Magazine delivers direct access to business executives, decision makers, and professionals in Baltimore. I read every issue, so should you. It presents valuable and relevant stories, provides insights and ideas, and profiles successful and remarkable CEOs. It connects professionals with businesses. I-95 Magazine tells stories. Let it tell yours. Find it at i95business.com.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Alan Hirsch.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Alan Hirsch. I'm talking to Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. We've been talking about personal service organizations or professional service organizations, I apologize, and how they can brand themselves to bring employees. If you have any questions or comments, please give us a call, 410-481-1300. So, Lee, we've talked about 3 or 4 different things that employees are looking for. Is there any other critical, would you say, critical issues that employees are looking for when they're going to a professional service organization?
It's a great question. I would say that one of the key things here that employers are also looking for is the ability to get the right match for them. What's important to them. And one of the interesting things we found, Alan, is that different generations, different age groups have a little bit different takes on what's important to them, what really turns them on. One of the most intriguing questions we ask is like, what's most important to you? What are the things that are most important to you? And what we found is that with the baby boomers, those of us who came after World War II, it's working with the most respected firm in your industry or your niche. They want to have the respected firm. With Generation X, some people out there, we hear these terms all the time. Mm-hmm. As I understand it, baby boomers are 1946 to 1964. Right. And the Generation X is what age group? 64 to the around 80. Okay. So we'll do that, and we'll get to when we get to the next one. If you would describe that age group, because I think we talk about it all the time, but most of the people out there just don't know what it means. Yeah. Well, those of us who were born after World War II, the respected firm in the niche is how we think about it, what's really important to us. The next one, that were born in the 64 to 80, the so-called Gen X's, there it's being recognized in front of your peers for your contribution. So that moves from thinking about how the firm is respected in general to what your peers think about you. And then when you get down to the millennials, then those are born after 1980, that their thing that they're most interested in is building a personal brand in the industry. Now, you can make a lot of those generational differences, what they mean or what they don't mean, but as a practical matter, I think as an employer, you need to think what I think is important to my employees, how I'm going to reward them, may not be what's most important to them. And that's really, I think, what the big takeaway is. Make sure you understand what the person you're rewarding, what's going to really be important to him. So that kind of personal recommendation or that personal recognition in front of their peers may be of a very great importance and may mean a lot to some individual, but working on their personal brand or getting the opportunity to do something there, to write an article or be an active on social media, may be more important to someone in a different generation and a different person. So how do these are all interesting. So how does an employer, the market themselves? So someone that is looking, an employee might be looking. How do they create a new marketing role for the employer branding, the branding that they need in order to attract the employees from the different generations? Yeah. That's a great question, and I think there's a couple of aspects to it. One is how they go about getting all the talent. I mean, how do you promote your firm on social media? Well, the reality is that there's a lot of people often in firms who are willing to do something, but they've never been asked. and we find this out. Take social media as probably the best example. If you ask most senior management of firms, baby boomers who haven't been particularly involved, most of them will say, well, I don't really understand social media. I don't really like it. I don't think it's that important. It's all about face-to-face networking because that's what they're most comfortable with. That's what they understand. If you ask your younger people, let's say someone in their mid-20s, they're more likely to tell you that they're more comfortable interacting with their business peers on social media than they are in face-to-face networking interactions. So I think simply by making some of these opportunities available to people, letting know that they can do this and they can build a career, it doesn't really cost you anything other than the potential, a little bit of the employee's time, and it allows you to get that message out to their peers who are on social media. And you're getting the message out for other people who are doing networking through their networking. So the point is, ask around, and you'll probably find that there are people in your organization willing to share things, willing to be out in front of people that you might not have anticipated. You might not recognize that that's available to you.
So we talked about referrals earlier, where when you and I grew up, it was a personal referral. You picked up the phone, you called them. Today, you get a personal referral, you go to the internet. So if a future employee, a lawyer, for example, or an IT specialist is looking to work for a professional service organization, they're going to go, they might be recommended to somebody, but they're going to go the same way. They're going to go to the internet and look at the company.
That's right.
So what does the company need to do in their marketing and in their web design work and what they're presenting on the web in order to enable those potential top-of-the-line candidates to take the next step and actually go and talk to the firm?
They have to do three things. First and foremost, they have to figure out what is the message that I want to send to potential employees. Because if you're not sure what message you're unlikely to have a consistent message, and you won't have any control over what your message. Second thing they need to do is they need to have a realistic assessment of what's important to them. And, you can ask the current employees about that. You can use the results of this survey as a guideline, and you'll find out, okay, the ability to work remotely is important. The ability to build their personal brand is important. And if these are things that are offered by your firm, get those up front in the kind of information that's available to a potential employee. Have a section on your website that talks about what it's like to be a potential employee and answer their questions, because they're going to go looking for the answers, and if they don't find the answers or it seems evasive or there's nothing there at all, your chances of them following up go down dramatically.
I'm a believer in what I call the why and the how and the what of what you do. And yes, in different parts of the website, I think it's important for a law firm or a professional service firm to understand why they exist.
Yep.
And being able to communicate that, and that why doesn't change whether it's about marketing to new clients, marketing to existing clients, or marketing to future employees. How they do it, what makes them different, their proprietary processes, their value propositions, can be molded in each one of those sections and areas in order to create an attraction. Whether it's looking for employees, talking about how they treat employees, how they deal with employees, what an employee can expect from them, is very important.
You're absolutely right. And the thing that's even more important is the consistency of that. I mean, what you say on your website has to be what you try and live. And this is true whether you're talking about your brand as it relates to a potential new client or your brand as it relates to a potential new employee. You have to be open about what you're trying to accomplish and then go about trying to do it. Because if you say one thing about this is what our culture is, and then when the employee gets there, they find a different culture, they're not going to stick around very long. And so I think it's that kind of transparency and consistency. That's one of the fundamental changes that is rocking the marketplace, that need for transparency and consistency. And I think is hard for a lot of firms to really realize that that's changed.
And I agree 100% with you on that. And it reminds me of what I consider one of the great characters of leadership, and we do have to go to the next commercial break, and that is you set examples. The leadership of the firm needs to set the example, and not what I say. It's not about what you say; it's about how you do it and what you do. Because if you have that as a firm, I agree with your part. If you say what you're going to do, you better do it.
That's right.
And set the example. Anyway, we do have to go to our next commercial break. And when we come back, I will continue this, as far as I'm concerned, excellent conversation with Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. I'm Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors. This is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM. In the digital world, first impressions are everything. If your site is slow or outdated, you could be missing out on valuable business. The team at Adventure Web Interactive is ready to help you bring your website up to date so that you can reach new audiences and convert more leads. Contact Adventure Web today at 410-788-7007 for a free website analysis, or visit them on the web at advp.com. Great athletes have coaches. So should CEOs and business owners. Hi, this is Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors. Owning a business takes drive, desire, and a certain amount of luck. Well, I can't help you with the luck. I can help you make better decisions, giving you a competitive edge. If you own a business, I invite you to contact us. Our goal is to help you align your company vision and your personal lives so you'll make and execute better decisions. At Alan Hirsch Advisors, we create those aha moments. Log on to alanhirschadvisors.com for more information.
At Offutt Kerman, we do things differently. Clients choose us because we understand business, and we're innovative problem solvers. We are attorneys who help business owners excel in both their professional and personal lives, and in the most productive and cost-effective manner. That's what makes us the perfect legal partner for maximizing and protecting your business value and individual wealth. We are a full-service law firm. We are Offutt Kerman. How can we help you?
I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most.
Symphony Placements is Baltimore's leader in flexible staffing and human resource solutions. From temp to perm, direct hire, and payroll outsourcing, Symphony Placements continues to exceed their clients' expectations. Woman-owned, certified minority business, and ranked on the Inc. 5000 list. A full-service staffing agency that specializes in administrative, legal, healthcare, IT, call centers, hospitality, and convention services. They bring harmony to your staffing. Visit symphonyplacements.com for additional information. That's symphonyplacements.com.
I'm Alan Hirsch, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500.
Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating aha moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Alan Hirsch.
Welcome back. I'm on the in the studio talking with Lee Frederiksen of Hinge Marketing. We're talking about professional service organizations and what candidates look for and how employers should be branding themselves. If you have any questions, give us a call, 410-481-1300. So, Lee, there are two other things I want to get to in the last 10, 11 minutes that we have. One is, where do the candidates search for opportunities?
Such a great question. Reminds me of the old axiom about making sure you fish where the fish are. The interesting thing is that candidates search some places that employers aren't really aware or don't really see them searching for. Let me give you a perfect example. One of the places is candidates look at published articles in industry publications. Now, you don't, as an employer, you might not think about that gee, I think, I'm publishing these articles so I can get new clients, not to get new employees. But over a quarter of the potential employees actively look for industry articles. They're looking for the kind of expertise that you have in your firm. Yet only 3%, only 3 out of 100 employers recognize that candidates are looking at these publications for finding potential places to work. So it's a perfect opportunity for individuals or for firms to up their profile with potential clients as well as potential employees. Another place is a firm website. People underestimate, less than half of the employers recognize their website as a place that employees look for opportunities, while it's one of the most common places that employees go looking for it. So they don't think that, by having a section on employment and talking about my culture and talking about the philosophy and the kind of things, that will actually attract good candidates.
Well, we talked about that just before the break.
Yeah.
That and you go to public service, I keep saying public, but personal services organizations. Very few of them talk about employment and employment opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And just like referrals we talked about from the other side, from the customer base, people are going to look at your website to find out who you are, why you do what you do, and how you do it, and how you treat employees. And that's how you're going to get some of your best applicants, because they're going to want to come to work with you. They believe in what you want to do, and they're going to come.
That's right. That's right. Another great place is something called general web search, or they'll Google a particular type of organization they're looking for that has expertise. If you're a law firm and it's a personal injury law firm, they may be Googling a personal injury law firm, not because they need your services, but because they're looking for a place to work. And that's where having your profile in the industry helps you in two ways, by building your employer brand as well as your brand as a service provider.
So your studies are showing that very few personal service organizations, when they're developing their website, are really doing what the study shows is necessary to think about and bring in new employees. That's right.
It's like they're trying to fight with one hand tied behind their back. It's a battle for the best new employees, and if you aren't putting your best foot forward, if you don't understand what is your best foot and how to put that forward, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage even before you start.
Okay. Another question that I have is, so you've applied, you're interested. From your study, how do the firms evaluate the candidates?
is very interesting. The firms evaluate the candidates first and foremost. They look at their work history and their relevant experience. What experience have you had? Now, we know from other research that may or may not be the most effective way to evaluate them, because you can get all experience requires is a passage of the clock has to keep moving and you're gaining experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're gaining competence, but that is the single most important way. After that, it's the interview is the second most impactful in terms of how talent evaluators evaluate. So work experience and interview. And then it gets to credentials, the cover letter, and that kind of thing. And of the major criteria, what comes after that is the expertise. Has the individual demonstrated their expertise? Have they done authored articles? Have they had speaking engagements? That kind of thing. So the very thing that we were talking about before that helps you attract candidates is also what employers are looking for.
So, again, should employers be thinking about changing the kinds of questions and information that they're looking for? Because from the candidates, one of the challenges I've always faced, and I had to hire a lot of people, fired a lot of people in my day as a business owner, and some of the techniques have really changed in the particularly in the personal interviews. So,
yes. Yeah.
So what if an prospective employee is looking to? What are some of the questions? I'm always asking, you have any questions of me? When I'm interviewing for somebody, or questions about the firm. And so what would a employer expect the employee or prospective employee to know about the company? Yeah,
I think in terms of the questions that are most helpful, frankly, the half-life of knowledge within the professions, in other words, how long it takes before half of what you know is out of date, is becoming less and less and less. So the thing that I look for, and I think what this study and others point out, is you want to look at an employer or a potential employee's ability and interest in learning and adapting to new things and taking on new information. If they're eager about that, if they're asking about what are the opportunities to build up my personal brand, what are the abilities to gain more expertise, how can I share that? That, I think, is the essence of what's going to make a good employee going forward. Someone who is interested in learning and is interested in learning about what you have to offer as a firm and is interested in the subject matter, that bodes well for an employee because it sort of hits all the criteria. It deals with the kind of turbulent environment where information is changing and new techniques are needed, and it also deals with the issue of will that person help you attract new clients and attract new employees.
One last, because we got about a minute left. So Lee, is anything that you think is important you haven't covered so far in our discussion this evening?
I think the most important thing is to not take recruiting for granted. The way you used to do it, the way you did it a number of years ago, is subject to change, and it's becoming much more focused on online activities, on people being able to find the right fit for them. So be real clear about what you want, what's the ideal, and what you're offering, and make that as clear and transparent and visible as you can, should get you the best employees that match that profile.
Well, Lee, thank you very much for being in the show this evening. I really appreciate it. You talk about the study you did. How can the listeners reach you and get information about the study?
they can go to hingemarketing.com, and the study is available there in the library. It's a free download.
And if they want you and any information from you, how can they reach you directly?
They can Google Lee Frederiksen, or they can go to hingemarketing.com, and I'm available right there on the website.
Again, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. I've learned a lot this evening. Hope the listeners have. I really appreciate you being here. Go ahead. I also want to thank my producer, Joe LaCroix, who makes this show happen. Please join me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. when I will have a CEO Spotlight show where I'll be talking to and featuring 4 business owners in the Baltimore metropolitan area. I am Alan Hirsch of Alan Hirsch Advisors, your host. To reach me, call 443-977-4500 or visit my website, www.alanhirschadvisors.com. You can also listen to all the past shows over the last 3.5 years at the radio's website, which is AHA Biz Radio. That's BIZRADIO.com. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. This has been AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM. I-95 Business Magazine delivers direct access to business executives, decision makers, and professionals in Baltimore. I read every issue, so should you. It presents valuable and relevant stories, provides insights and ideas, and profiles successful and remarkable CEOs. It connects professionals with businesses. I-95 Magazine tells stories. Let it tell yours. Find it at i95business.com.
Do retirement issues keep you up at night? Are you holding a portfolio filled with underperforming investments? If so, call me, Troy Brewer, and my team at Wells Fargo Advisors, and schedule an appointment today. My team has been quarterbacking clients for over 22 years and has developed a sound process to get your goals and dreams on track. Call us today at 410-230-6554. As you know, it all starts with a conversation.
This has been a paid advertisement by the Brewer, Gayhart, Wisniewski Financial Consulting Group of Wells Fargo Advisors.
I'm Alan Hirsch, and I trust my digital marketing to the experts at Adventure Web Interactive. They have grown my Twitter following by 400%, increased my web views by 200%, and helped me reach new audiences. From content creation to social media management, Adventure Web has been an invaluable partner in helping me maximize my online presence. Contact them today at 410-788-7007 or visit them on the web at advp.com. I read the Baltimore Business Journal, and so should you. The BBJ is the region's leading business-to-business news organization. If it relates to business, the BBJ has it. Learn who is growing, what your competition is doing, who the movers and shakers are, and how to reach them. Visit BaltimoreBusinessJournal.com for breaking news throughout the day. Sign up for daily newsletters. Follow your favorite reporters as they break news via online stories and Twitter. And read the paper each Friday for a deep dive into the stories that matter most.
At Offutt Kerman, we do things differently. Clients choose us because we understand business. And we're innovative problem solvers. We are attorneys who help business owners excel in both their professional and personal lives, and in the most productive and cost-effective manner. That's what makes us the perfect legal partner for maximizing and protecting your business value and individual wealth. We are a full-service law firm. We are Offutt Kerman. How can we help you?
Did you know that in 2015, there was over $1 billion in theft? Construction sites are being targeted for their copper and equipment. Personal injury claims for retailers are up 74%. Your employees spend 2/3 of their day shopping online and using social media. SOS Tech Group offers comprehensive surveillance solutions to battle this growing epidemic. Call 410-559-7020 or visit sostechgroup.com for more info.
I'm Alan Hirsch, and I believe in making a difference in the lives of others. I help you understand your vision, both professional and personal, discover why you're in business, work with your visions to align them with your why, give you feedback on what is important, and hold you accountable for your decisions. All this so you can improve your life and improve the lives of the people around you. If that sounds like someone you want to work with, give me a call at 443 443-977-4500. That's 443-977-4500.
The Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce is your voice in the Baltimore business community. Our mission is to help our members create lasting partnerships throughout the city and the region by making resources, information, and networking opportunities available to our members. For more information on how to get involved in Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce or to register for one of our upcoming events, visit us at baltimorecitychamber.org. That's baltimorecitychamber.org.
The opinions expressed in the preceding paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
CBS Sports Radio is WJZ AM Baltimore, WJZ FM HD3 Catonsville, Baltimore, the flagship station for Maryland Terrapin women's basketball and Maryland Terrapin men's lacrosse.